Hey. So this is from The First Living a Safe Universe, chapter 11. It starts off with a quote from Seth. There simply is no time as you think of it, only a present in which all things occur. This comes from The Nature of Personal Reality, session 696. No, 69. That's a thing with English and Dutch. It's the other way around. So session 669. Learning to trust the moment point. As Seth tells us, continuity, therefore, is in terms of the self rather than in terms of a series of moments. Instead, there is a series of selves. What we are creating in the moment point with each action is a different version of ourself. So in essence, we are learning to create ourself by using the energy of which we are already a part. You could say we're learning to handle the inexhaustible energy of the self that is available to us. And along with this learning comes responsibility. The responsibility to recognize and use the ways in which our emotional, mental, and psychic existence creates both form and events, moment by moment. And to what avail? Seth. To the extent that you understand and utilize the various aspects of consciousness, you will learn to understand your own reality, and the conscious self will truly become conscious. End of quote. Once we intellectually understand the nature of reality and the self, it only makes sense we can then learn to manipulate within that environment to some extent because we know more of what we're dealing with. A long learning process kicked off for me when I set my sights on learning how to live a safe universe. It actually took years to see the picture I eventually became comfortable with, the picture outlined in this book. To me, it is the most logical understanding I could reach. That outlined the aspects of creation that concerned me. But it wasn't only cobbling together certain knowledge that brought me to trust. If only that were the case. The biggest challenge, it turned out, was using what I was learning. And the big lesson of what I was learning was that there's no cause and effect or creation in linear terms, but that the moment point is the point of creation. That meant I had to reorient my thinking to the moment point and start using the moment point as my palette of creation. Clearly, there's no way to pass on to you a path, a simple step-by-step procedure that leads to trust. Trust is too personal, too subjective, too tied to each of our private moments of reality to offer a one-size-fits-all program. I'll gladly share some of the things I learned along the way and some of the tools I developed for my own use. But they may or may not resonate with you. How you subjectively get a hold of an idea and run with it. Trust has to grow in each of our hearts and souls at your own pace, and in a form we will accept, based on who we and where we are, as consciousness in physical form. But ultimately, it is trust in the moment point that will determine our ability to live a safe universe. This chapter, then, is a potpourri of advice, results, reflections, suggestions, anecdotes, and Seth comments, spontaneously offered to your spontaneous self. It's meant as a place for ideas that may spur new ways of thinking, or perhaps deepen acceptance of things long known. Either way, everything in it is aimed at learning to trust the moment point. So what I offer here is in the spirit of sharing, knowing it may not resonate with you, and that's just fine. Someday perhaps we will meet and you can fill me in on what you found for yourself, and we just may be amazed at how differently our paths to trust unfolded, or how similarly. So the takeaway from this is you have your own way. There's no one size fits all. And that's actually with everything, right? For some people, it works to work out, to lose weight, or get stronger. For other people, that's really not necessary and they do a diet. For other people, they never even think about their weight and they have the perfect weight. There's no one size fits all. So whenever someone comes with this is the formula, then you don't really have to push against it because who cares? You know, like that's just a waste of your energy. You can just think, oh, yeah, it might work for you. I think something other works for me, or you might agree with them. But just know that if it doesn't work for you, it's because there's no one size fits all. We all have our own unique ways because we are unique. We are one of a kind. We are a unique expression of all that is. And yeah, there's no one youer than you, as Dr. Seuss says. So I'm going to read the quote one more time in the beginning of this chapter because it was so good. So one more time. The quote that this chapter begins with. There simply is no time as you think of it, only a present in which all things occur. There simply is no time as you think of it, only a present in which all things occur. And so, learning to trust the moment point, the title of this chapter. As Seth tells us, opening of the quote, continuity, therefore, is in terms of the self rather than in terms of a series of moments. Instead, there is a series of selves. End of quote. What we are creating in the moment point with each action is a different version of ourself. So in essence, we are learning to create ourself by using the energy of which we are already a part. You could say we're learning to handle the inexhaustible energy of the self that is available to us. So I trust that this was helpful for you and share it with anyone that you think might benefit from it. See you in the next. Bye.